Before you begin any of your week 9 materials, I would like you to stop and do a brainstorming page, and it asks, what does it take to make a hero? And there's like a little word web that comes off the word hero. I'm going to take a picture and put this next to it so that you can see what I'm talking about. I really want you guys to think, what does it take to be considered a hero? So you might know some heroes in your life, and you're about to read about a few of them, and they're heroes for different reasons. So before we begin anything, so you can stop or pause this video, and I want you to write down some ideas and words or phrases, things that make a person a hero.
Our heroes. What do heroes do? Heroes are people we can look up to because of their courage and brave actions. Firefighters are heroes. In an emergency, firefighters risk their lives to save others. While some firefighters work to put out a fire, others bravely enter the building to save people trapped inside. That's heroic. People who stand up for what is right are also heroes. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lived during a time when people in America were treated differently depending on the color of their skin. He spoke out to share his dream that all people would be treated equally. That's heroic too.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Hi, second graders. Welcome to week 9 of distance learning. This week we're going to be reading a biography called Brave Bessie, and I can't wait for you to learn all about this amazing woman. You're going to be learning a new word this week, and that word is aviatrix. I bet it's a word that even your parents don't know. We don't use this word very often because we don't hear about it very often. An aviatrix, do you have any guesses what that is? It's a female pilot, so it's a girl who flies a plane. So our essential question this week is, what do heroes do? You've learned a lot about people who are considered to be heroes, like Martin Luther King, people who were brave and stood up to others and said what they thought. You're going to learn about Bessie Coleman. You will also learn about Rudy Garcia Tolson. And then at the back of the book, you're going to learn about somebody called the unsinkable Molly Brown. So you're going to be learning about a lot of people who are really famous and incredible because they stood out for their bravery. They are considered a hero. How could I also forget? You're going to be learning about a doctor. Her name was Elizabeth Blackwell. So she might be another hero that you decide to discuss and talk about in your summary. I'm giving you an option. You need to choose one of the people that we've learned about this week or another biography that you've read. And I'd like you to choose 5 or 6 keywords and include those in your own summary. What's a summary? Do you remember? A summary is a short retell. Remember, we don't want it to be long. We want to really think about the sentence in our head before we write it down so that it's short, detailed, and it's the best way to word it. So try to use those keywords and figure out who, what, when, where, why, and then write those keywords down and include those in your summary. This week we have a new sound. It's the long U. No, you. Me? No, you. This week we have the sound oo. That's a variant vowel. So there's many ways to spell the oo sound. Let's say our words. Repeat after me. Room. Flu, like when you're ill with the flu. June. Notice it's a capital J. It's a month, so it's a proper noun. New, glue, fruit, crook, could, pull, push, point, coin, along, ever, and strong. Those are our spelling words for the week. Here are our vocabulary words to know this week. Let's start off with the word agree.
Agree. Grandma and I agree to play a card game. Agree. If people agree, they say that something is true or that they will do something.
So when you agree, you have the same opinion. You think the same way. Next word is challenging.
Challenging. This hard math problem is challenging to me.
So when something is challenging, it is difficult and it takes effort to do it. It doesn't come easily. Discover.
Discover. I dig in my backyard to discover buried treasure. Discover. If you discover something, you find it.
When you discover something, you might uncover it or realize it. Our next word is heroes.
Heroes. Firefighters are heroes that help people.
So notice how you spell the word heroes. The word hero is spelled H-E-R-O. We add an E-S to make it plural, or more than one. So a hero is someone who has done a brave or good act. Interest.
Interest. Adam has an interest in music. Interest. If you have an interest in something, you like it and want to learn more about it.
Some of you might have an interest in animals or a certain subject area that you like to learn about. It's something that you enjoy. Perform.
Perform. My class likes to perform songs at school. Perform. If you perform, you do something in front of other people.
When you perform, you act it out or do it. Study.
Study. I like to study the planets.
When you study, you spend time learning about it. So you've studied matter, you've studied plants, you've studied fractions. When you learn about something, you're studying it. Succeed.
Succeed. I hope I succeed in winning the game.
When you succeed, you've tried to do well and you're doing something and you do really well at it. And we're back to agree. Did you know that next Monday is Memorial Day? Well, what is Memorial Day? In your Week 9 packet, I've included a reading piece, and you're going to read about the history of Memorial Day, why it's observed, and what it's for, and who we're supposed to be remembering. So hopefully you guys learn a little something, and you'll be able to answer the questions as long as you use the reading passage and be able to find the dates and information. And I really hope you go back in the passage and you use those details to help you answer the questions. All week, we're going to be thinking about what heroes do, and what great timing. So Memorial Day is all about heroes. So I've included this art activity where you're going to be coloring the letters H-E-R-O. It spells hero. And underneath each letter, there's a prompt where you can write a poem. You're going to draw a hero that you have in your life and write about your hero. So I'm going to have you guys complete this, and I'd love to see a picture of the final product. But if your hero is still alive and you know them, maybe you could Zoom call them and share it with them, or mail it to them, or read it to them over the phone. It's a great way to really honor someone and recognize them. This is also an optional dog tag that you can color on, you can cut out, you can hole punch, and then you add it to this little spot right here. And a dog tag is basically an identification that a soldier or someone in the military would wear, and they wear it around their neck, and there's 2 of them, and it identifies who they are. It's like carrying around your identification or like a license, except you don't need your wallet, you wear it around your neck. So it's a pretty neat thing. You can write your hero's name on there if you'd like. As you are reading this leveled text about Rudy Garcia Tolson, I would like you guys to keep notes, just like we did in our small reading groups. Now, what I noticed is some families have been sending me samples of this, and I see the same kind of note-taking on every single box. I wonder, I think. We know better than that. Great readers don't use just one kind of strategy while they're reading. Great readers make connections, They think about what it reminds them of. They ask questions. They make predictions. They write hard words down. They might summarize that small section that they give you the pages for. So I want you guys to be doing different kinds of notes on that sheet. It's really important that you don't get in a rut and use the same strategy over and over. So impress me this week. We're getting really close to 3rd grade, and I want you ready for Miss Chamberlain. After you read Brave Bessie, the story of Bessie Coleman, I would like you guys to take your comprehension assessment. I really want you to go back in the story and write the page number where you find the evidence, just like Grayson has been doing. It really helps you do well and get 100%. I think that you guys are more than capable. In class, most of you would get 100 on these, and I see that the score has been going down a little bit. So really slow down, use the story. I copied it for you. I am not reading the story aloud for you this week on the video because I really want to encourage you to go back to the story that I printed for you, read along. And I also included in my plans that I sent with you a link for a read aloud. So that might help you read through harder words. It's quite a long story, but it's a great one. And I think her life is really exciting. And parents, do not forget, I need to record these grades. This counts. So please send me pictures of the assessments. And if you can see that I've also included the answer key in the plans, you are more than welcome to correct it and just send me the score. But I need to record something. And please don't forget, parents, your children do not need help, and you really should not be giving them the answers. This is 2nd grade work. You guys have already gone through 2nd grade, and I need to make sure that these scores are valid. Thank you so much for your help, and I appreciate your support and honesty, and I couldn't be doing this without you guys. Holy cow, this week we're really going to be working with some big numbers. We've got 3-digit numbers this week. We're going to be working with numbers that have ones, tens, and hundreds, and we are going to be adding those this week. So I hope you guys are ready, and we're going to use our skills, and of course we're going to use some of those chants that we learned at the beginning of the year to help us. I want to talk with you guys about a really neat math strategy. Basically, when you are going to be adding or subtracting difficult numbers, I want you to think about how close they are to numbers that are really easy to work with. Like when I think of easy to work with numbers, I think about money. So remember the quarter chant? 25, 50, 75, 100. So numbers that are close to that or close to tens, those numbers are easier for me to do the math mentally. So I'm going to show you some strategies on how to do that, because when you get to lesson 11-5, that is the strategy that I want you working on. That is the objective, for you to think about what numbers are easier to work with so that you can do some mental math, because you shouldn't have to write everything down all the time. Your brain is like a little calculator. You shouldn't have to use a calculator to solve. You should be able to think about the numbers and be able to visualize them and change them in your brain. So I want to go over some strategies that I think might be helpful. And remember what we talked about in class. I'd like everyone to try a strategy. It might not be your favorite. It might not work really well for you. It might be challenging, but you need to try it. You need to get out of your comfort zone and give it a try, because really great students try things, and you might discover a method or strategy that actually helps you, and it makes math and numbers click for you like another strategy couldn't help you with. So I really want you guys to have a positive attitude. Admit if something is hard. I'm more than happy to do personal tutoring sessions, or to do another video, or find you a link, or just let mom or dad know that, hey, this is really hard. I might need a little bit of help. So I'd love to talk about anything that's difficult for you. And I'd also love to get some emails about things that are going well. And I'm really impressed with you guys so far. For this lesson, we're going to practice working with easy numbers. 609 plus 267, not easy numbers. I can't do that mentally. So I'm going to change this. It's close to 600. But what I had to do was I took away 9, right? So in the ones place I have 9, I took them away so that I can work with the number 600, because I can easily mentally solve this, because I'm just going to change the hundreds place. These are zeros. I don't have to add anything to it. So I already know that 2 plus 6 is 8, so it's automatically 267. When I minus the 9 to make this an easier number, I now have to add 9 to my answer to balance it out. So whatever you take away or add to make a number easier, you have to do the opposite. If I subtracted here in the answer, I have to add it. So instead of adding 10, I'm going to add 9. So 867 plus 10 is 877. Take away 1 is 876. So I can kind of solve that a little bit quickly in my head and do it a little mentally if I find easier numbers to work with. All right, let's use these numbers, and we're going to show another example how to turn them into easier numbers. I'm going to turn this into 450 because I think about 50 is a little bit easier to work with. And then I'm going to change this to 340. Well, what I had to do is I took away 2 and I took away a 1 to make those numbers happen, right? So I can easily know, I know that 5 plus 4 is 9, that's a 7, 790. Now, since I took away 3, I'm going to add 3 to my answer. So my real answer to the first problem is 793. So since I subtracted here, now I'm going to add to the answer to balance it out. Remember, anytime you make a 10, you're going to look at that number and you're going to put the 10s up high, the 1s down low, add them together, and you're ready to go. Like I've said many times, you have to mark that 10 that you're regrouping. So we're going to go over some examples. Hopefully it'll jar your memory and you'll remember our chant. It'll really go along with you as you're working through the math problems that I provided. So I'm really excited to get started. Now when you're adding, again, you always start in the ones place, and what you want to say is if it's in the ones place and you create more than 9, you create a 10, you want to put your 10s up high, your 1s down low, add them together, and you're ready to go. Hopefully that helps you remember the process for adding with regrouping. I want to solve this problem with you. So I'm going to add 465 plus 327. I always start in the ones place. So I'm going to think 5 plus 7. In my brain, I know that it's 12. Well, in the number 12, I notice that there's a 10, right? That 10 belongs in the next place value. I can only put one digit here. So I'm going to put the ones place digit there. So I'm going to write my 2, and I'm going to regroup that 10. So I put my 10 up high, my 1s down low. Let's add them together. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 is a single digit. I don't need to regroup. So then I go to my hundreds place, and I'm going to add 4 plus 3 is 7. 792 is my answer. So when you regroup, you put it into the next place value. You put that 10 into the next place value. So if I had a number right here that was more than 9, if it had a 10 in it, I would regroup and put it here. Now, what second graders usually do is they forget to add this in when they add up the numbers in that place value. So try to remember. Let's do another problem. I know that 8 plus 9, that's a near double. I know the answer is 17. It has a 10. I have to regroup. I put my 10s up high, my 1s down low, add them together, and you're ready to go. 1 plus 3 plus 7 is 11. So I'm going to put the ones place here, and I'm going to regroup that 10 in the hundreds place. I put it in the next place value. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. So this is in the thousands place, and there's in the hundreds place. My answer is 1,117. When you subtract, you want to look at the ones place. That's where we always begin our math. And we want to think more on top, no need to stop. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. Numbers the same, 0 is the game. Remember our rhyme? We practiced it a lot in school. I've set up my subtraction problem here. I noticed that 486 is the bigger number, it's on top, and 298 is on the bottom. I'm going to subtract that from 486. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start in my ones place as always, but I notice there's more on the floor. 6 is smaller than 8, 8 is more. So I have to go next door. I'm going to take a 10 from there. So instead of 8 tens, I now have 7. I'm going to give that 10 to the 6, so it's 16. 16 take 8 is a double, so I know 8 plus 8 is 16. Now I only have 7 here. I've got more on the floor, so now I have to go to the hundreds place is the next door, and I'm going to take 100 from there, right? I'm going to turn that. Now I have 3 hundreds instead of 4, and I'm going to give a 10 over to the 7. So now I have 3 hundreds, and instead of 7 tens, I now have 17 tens. Whoa. So let's do 17 take 9. I know my math facts. I know that's 8. And 3 take 2. I know they're neighbor numbers. The difference is 1. Let's solve this subtraction problem. I know there's more on the floor, so I have to go next door and get a 10. Oh my gosh, there's nothing there. What do? I'm going to look at these two place values. What's 1 less than 50? I'm going to take away from 50. See those numbers? 5, 0. So instead of this being 50, it's now 4 and 9, and I give the 10 here, right? So now I can subtract because 16 take 9, I have more on top, and I can regroup. So 16 take 9 is 7, and 9 minus 6, I've got more on top. No need to stop and regroup. I'm going to take away 6. I know that answer is 3. 4 take 2, that's a double. 2 plus 2 is 4, so 237. That would be my answer. Brady and I want to thank you for watching the video for this week, for week 9 of distance learning, and I want to encourage everybody to use your tools and use what you know and what we talked about in the video to help you this week. And feel free to ask me any further questions. I'm happy to find more resources and figure out ways to help you understand. If things are hard, please communicate that with me. I'm more than happy to help. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you Tuesday at our Zoom meeting.